How are you all doing today? My name is Mike and welcome to Prepping for Tomorrow. Have you ever thought about how you would survive in an urban environment during a crisis? A bustling city brimming with people might not be the first place that comes to mind when you think of survival situations. Yet, the unique challenges and considerations of urban environments call for an entirely different set of survival skills. Picture this. You're in the heart of the city when disaster strikes. The stores are empty, basic services are disrupted, and chaos rules the streets. To thrive or even just survive, you'll need to think outside the box, harness unconventional tactics, and develop specialized skills tailored for urban survival. From finding shelter amidst concrete jungles to foraging resources in unlikely places and navigating through complex city infrastructure, urban survival is an art. But fear not, we're here to guide you through it. Urban survival requires a unique set of skills and strategies, so let's delve into it. When you think of survival, you might think of forests and wilderness, but what about urban environments? Where would you find shelter? Let's explore this, shall we? Picture this. You're in a sprawling cityscape, and you need to find a safe place to stay. The typical urban jungle isn't exactly brimming with log cabins and cozy caves, but fear not. For even in the concrete jungle, there are unconventional shelter options that can provide safety and security. One of your first options could be abandoned buildings. They're often overlooked, yet they can provide excellent cover from the elements and potential threats. Whether it's a deserted warehouse or an empty office block, these structures can be a veritable treasure trove of shelter opportunities. Just remember, it's crucial to ensure the building is structurally sound and safe to inhabit. Parking garages are another solid choice. They're robust, multi-leveled, and offer a great vantage point to keep an eye on your surroundings. Plus, they're designed to withstand the weight of multiple vehicles, so you can bet they'll hold up against harsh weather conditions. If neither of these options is available, don't despair. You can always build a makeshift shelter. This could be as simple as creating a lean-to against a sturdy wall, crafting a tent out of tarps and rope, or even digging a trench and covering it for protection. Remember, the key here is to stay dry, warm, and hidden from sight. Now, finding shelter is one thing, securing it is another. Whether you found an abandoned building or constructed your own makeshift shelter, it's essential to fortify your new home. This could involve barricading entrances, setting up alert systems like tripwires, or even creating escape routes in case you need to leave in a hurry. In the end, surviving in an urban environment isn't just about finding shelter. It's about adapting to your surroundings, using what's available in innovative ways, and always staying one step ahead. Finding and securing a safe shelter is a crucial first step in urban survival. In an urban crisis, resources might become scarce. How would you find what you need to survive? In the hustle and bustle of city life, resources are often overlooked. But when survival is at stake, every little helps. Sustaining yourself in an urban environment requires a knack for scavenging and a keen eye for spotting resources in the most unlikely of places. Food, water, and supplies might not be neatly packaged on a supermarket shelf, but that doesn't mean they're not there. Discarded items can be a treasure trove of survival resources. Broken furniture can be repurposed for shelter or firewood. A ripped tarp could become a rainwater collector. Even an old newspaper could serve as insulation or a makeshift blanket in a pinch. But scavenging isn't just about finding what's been left behind, it's about knowing where to look. Empty buildings can house valuable supplies, from canned food in a deserted pantry to medical supplies in an abandoned clinic. It's crucial to approach these places with caution though, as they may also harbor unseen dangers. Another resource hidden in plain sight is water. In an urban setting, you might find it in air conditioning units, hot water heaters, toilet tanks, and even in the form of dew on plants. Speaking of plants, urban gardens and public parks are often overlooked sources of food. Fruit trees and edible plants can provide much-needed sustenance. Even weeds like dandelions and clover are edible and packed with nutrients. Abandoned vehicles can also be a goldmine of resources. Fuel, battery power, and even the vehicle itself could be used in a variety of ways. Let's not forget about the human resource. Building relationships and alliances can be just as crucial to survival as any physical resource. A friendly neighbor might share their supplies, or a local mechanic might help fix a broken-down vehicle. These are just some of the unconventional sources of resources you might find in an urban environment. The key is to think outside the box and use what's available. Knowing where to look and how to utilize available resources can be a lifesaver in a crisis situation. Urban environments have their own unique landscapes. How would you navigate the concrete jungle? In the heart of a city lies a network of systems and structures that make up its infrastructure. Understanding these can be a lifeline in a survival situation. Let's dive into how to navigate and utilize urban infrastructure effectively. Cities are teeming with public transportation systems. These include subways, buses, trams, and even bike-sharing services. In a crisis, these systems may be compromised or crowded, but they also offer valuable escape routes and may lead to areas of safety. Knowing the routes and schedules beforehand can save precious time when seconds count. Landmarks are another important aspect of urban navigation. They are not just for tourists. Tall buildings, parks, statues, or unique architectural structures can serve as points of reference when navigating through the city. They can help you determine your location and direction, especially in the absence of a working GPS. Access to utilities can be a game changer in urban survival. Knowledge of where to find water or power sources can be invaluable. Many cities have public fountains that could provide a source of water. Similarly, external outlets on buildings might offer a power source for charging devices. Remember, it's not about exploiting the system, but about knowing where to turn when options are limited. Now let's talk about the hazards and dangers in urban environments. Traffic congestion can turn roads into traps. Always avoid major roads and stick to side streets or alleyways. They are less likely to be congested and might offer more escape routes. Watch out for contaminated water sources. Floods or broken sewage lines can contaminate water, making it dangerous to consume. Always have a method to purify water, whether it's boiling, filtering, or using purification tablets. Understanding and navigating urban infrastructure is key to survival in a city crisis. This knowledge, combined with a good dose of resourcefulness and adaptability, can increase your chances of getting through a tough situation. So keep learning, keep preparing, and remember, survival is not about being the strongest or the fastest, it's about being the most adaptable. In a crisis, you might need to blend in or avoid detection. How would you do it? Let's delve into the art of concealment and evasion. In an urban environment, blending in is about more than just camouflage clothing. It's about adopting the behaviors, rhythms, and even appearances of the city dwellers around you. Dress like the locals, move with purpose, and always look like you know where you're going. And remember, a low profile is your best friend. Now let's say you're in a situation where you need to evade potential threats. Your first line of defense is awareness. Keep your eyes and ears open, be alert to changes in your environment, and always have an escape route in mind. Avoiding hostile encounters is all about being proactive. If you see a potential threat, change your course or your routine. Don't be predictable. Use the cover of crowds or the anonymity of the bustling city to your advantage. Sometimes the best way to avoid detection is to hide in plain sight. The city is full of nooks and crannies, alleyways, and rooftops that can provide temporary respite. But be careful, these can also be traps if you're not careful. And above all, remember that evasion is not about being the fastest or the strongest. It's about being the smartest. It's about thinking on your feet, making quick decisions, and staying one step ahead of the game. Mastering concealment and evasion tactics can keep you safe and undetected when it matters most. In a crisis, you might need to defend yourself. What measures can you take in an urban environment? Survival isn't just about finding food and shelter. It's also about protecting yourself and your belongings. In an urban setting, this can be quite the challenge. Urban environments are filled with potential threats, from aggressive individuals to organized groups looking for easy targets. When it comes to self-defense, the key is to be prepared. Learn basic self-defense techniques, and practice them regularly. This can range from simple hand-to-hand combat to more advanced martial arts. Remember, the goal isn't to win a fight, but to escape and survive. As for protecting your belongings, consider setting up a secure perimeter around your shelter. This could be as simple as barricading entrances or as complex as setting up makeshift alarms using everyday items. Now, what about weapons? Well, in an urban environment, you're unlikely to have a traditional weapon at your disposal. This is where improvisation comes in. A sturdy pipe becomes a club, a broken glass bottle becomes a knife, and a can of spray paint can be used as a makeshift pepper spray. Remember, these are non-lethal options. The goal is to deter, disorient, or disable your attacker long enough for you to escape. It's important to note, though, that these measures should be a last resort. Avoidance is always the best strategy. Implementing security and defense measures can ensure your survival in a hostile urban setting.